Okay, this Facebook thing is almost ready. I guess it's only 5:28, so we're still good.
No, I'm trying to get something working.
Okay, I believe the Facebook feed is working. Says it is. So we just got one more minute before we can commence. Okay, guys, just 30 more seconds or so, and we'll get started. Oh, Kurt. Okay, 5:30. Chat. Okay, welcome to the July 14th, 2020 meeting of the Carmel Mountain Ranch Sabre Springs Community Council. This agenda has been prepared as a regular meeting agenda. However, our really only purpose tonight is to deal with the continued item from the meeting we had on the 10th. And the bylaws said I had to prepare a regular agenda. So I am, in the interest of speed here, I'm going to ask for a motion to approve the agenda in the chat. Motion to approve from John Chu. Do I have a second? And Rich Craigie, second. John, okay, we have at least 2 seconds. And then all those in favor, I will say that I am in favor. Rich is in favor. John Schroeder is in favor. And Mark Clark is in favor. How many? Okay. Kurt. I don't see Kurt in here yet. Okay, Dan Thompson's in favor, Mark Clark's in favor, John Schroeder. Let's see, Dan, Mark, John, Rich. John Chu made the motion to approve, so that's 5-6 with me. It seems like we maybe are still Ryan.
Hi, sorry.
That's okay, Ryan. I'm just having everybody approve the agenda in the chat.
Ah. Thank you.
Silva approves. Silva, does that count for Majid as well? Majid approves, that's good. And then Ryan Yamasaki approved. Okay, that's more than 8. So we've got a quorum of people approving the agenda. So let's, oh, Joe approves as well. Okay, yes, I see. I'm gonna, okay, good. All right, so let's go with introduction of board members, and let's just do I'm going to do a roll call. I'm going to read off the roster, and then if you could just put in the chat that you're here. I think that's probably the quickest way to get through this. So Eric Edelman, I'm here. Esther, are you here? I don't see Esther. Okay, at this point, I don't see Esther. Okay, Ryan Yamasaki is present. Dan Thompson is present. John Chu is present. Rich Craigie is present. John Schroeder is present. Mark Clark is present. Michelle Mullen will not be here this evening. Joe Valencia is present. Kurt Carlson is going to be joining us as soon as he can. Hopefully soon. He's at a seminar or something, and he's joining via phone, I believe. Yep. Majid is here. Silva is here. So at this point, we're missing Michelle and we're missing Kurt. So we're only missing 2 at this point. Okay, so let me buzz through, and I'm sure that Kurt will jump on as soon as he can. Let me buzz through the top part of the agenda here and ask if I have any non-agenda public comments. You can let me know in the chat here if there's any non-agenda public comment. I'm going to give that 15 or 20 seconds before I move on. Non-agenda public comment. Going once, twice. Okay, there being no non-agenda public comment. Neighborhood police report. She's not here tonight. Fire station report, not here. Brian Jones rep, not here. Mainshine's rep, not here. Anthony George from Supervisor Gaspar's office, not here. Mark Schaefer, I don't believe he's here. Looking, I don't see him. Okay, that's fine. Okay, good. Kurt, okay. I thought I was hearing from Kurt. Mayor Faulkner's rep, not here. San Diego Planning Department, I don't believe there's anyone here from the Planning Department. If there is, please let me know in the chat. Park and Ride Subcommittee report. Golf Course Subcommittee report. We did those on Wednesday. All right, so that brings us all the way up to old business, which is our continued item from the 10th, which is the letter from the Carmel Mountain Ranch Sabre Springs Community Council to New Urban West and the City of San Diego. And there's been some revision done on the letter, and many of you have seen that and participated, so thank you. And now I'm going to proceed with board member comments on the letter, and if there's anything in the current version aside from the syntax changes, I've got those. Anything with regard to, you know, misspellings, that sort of thing, that's going to be changed and doesn't require any board approval to do that. But I know there were some comments from others about what should, what shouldn't be in there, etc. So I'm going to open up that discussion with checking for Esther again. I don't see Esther. All right, well, we'll move on to Ryan. Ryan
Here.
Yamasaki, you're unmuted.
So I quickly read through the edits. I don't have the original and the revised version, but the parts that I do remember that we discussed in the last meeting were incorporated. So I agree.
Okay, so is that anything else, Ryan, or was that?
That's all.
Okay, good. All right, Dan Thompson. I'm trying to unmute Dan. Dan, are you there? Okay, well, Dan's calling us from the hospital, so maybe it'll take him a minute to come back. I'll come back around. John Chu. There's that problem with your audio again. I don't know what that is. Last time we had the same thing, and then when I came back to you, it was good. Let me try talking again. Let's see if it. Okay. Let's try unmuting you again and see if that. Say again. Still, you got that helium voice going on.
I'm here, Eric.
Up, Dan. Okay, John.
What do you want from me?
I just wanted to get your feedback on the edits to the letter.
I read it yesterday. Everything looks great. Yeah, I'll be approving when we get a chance.
Awesome. Okay, thank you, sir. Okay.
Unmute me. You can unmute me.
Or remute you, you mean?
Yeah, that too.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. John, I'm going to come back to you and see if this is. Darn it. Still whacked out. I don't know what that is. It's okay. We'll come back to you. Maybe not comments beyond my red line, see above. Yes. Okay. Okay, John. Yes, we did I got those, and those were definitely grammatical changes, a couple of changes to some sentences with regard to structure and wording, but not meaning. So those changes can be incorporated and are appreciated as they don't materially change the substance of the letter. If you have anything else to add, John, go ahead in the chat. I can see you, and then we'll try unmuting you again if we need to. Nothing at this time. Okay, good. Rich, where's Rich? There he is.
No, I think I'm good with all of the edits.
Okay.
There's this first one about deleting this long paragraph. I don't think we necessarily need to delete that whole paragraph, but I'm fine with it either way.
Yeah, that was a suggestion from Joe, and we'll get to him. And I think we'll come back and discuss that when it's Joe's turn.
There were a couple edits that mentioned that highlighted the 200 and 250 that we kind of came up with. I don't quite understand what that edit is. We're keeping the 200 to 250 number in there, right? Or what does that edit mean?
As written now, it's in there. I think that was Joe's. That was one.
That's my comment also. Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll come to him. We'll come to Joe in a minute, and then he'll explain that. And if we decide to if we just we'll come back to that. Okay, Rich, John Schroeder. All right, John, you're unmuted.
Okay. Let's see, I guess I'll just go through the folks that have made some comments. I'm going to have one small word to give to you to add, Eric.
Okay.
I'll do, just to get I'm the person that wrote the part about the planning commission quotes.
Yeah.
So I just want to have it, absolutely correct. And Joe even, questioned that. And Joe, I double checked with the video and, just to make sure I have every word correct on the planning commissioner's quote. So we're good there, except for one word I'm going to add, Eric, Commissioner Whalen, instead of, this is not the development footprint that's the type we normally seek. He said, that's the type that we normally seek. I mean, it doesn't matter, but I just want to get the quote right in the letter. So I'll send that to you.
Okay. Yes, please do. Thank you.
Yeah. Regarding John Chu's comments, I know that he incorporated most of Joe Valencia's. So, I mean, I was fine with all John Chu's comments. Except there's one, and John, in one of the quotes, actually after the quotes, the first paragraph, it talks about, let's see. It says, the second sentence, this proposal does in fact gobble up 9 of the 18 golf course fairways and portions of 2 others, additional fairways. And I'm saying the proposal by design chops up the former golf course into little pieces. John, I noticed that you kind of tried to clean that up a little bit, and that makes some sense. However, I wanted to point out that I suggest we leave it the way it was. And the only reason is I'm trying to establish a contrast between the Planning Commission's expectations and what New Urban West actually did. So what I'm really doing with those words like gobble up and chop up, I'm referring to Planning Commissioner's comments. Now, for example, Commissioner Austin says, you come back with something that just gobbles up those fairways, doesn't provide buffers, et cetera, et cetera.
John says he's okay with that.
Yeah, you're not going to get approved. And then, yeah, William Hoffman says, don't chop it up into little development pieces. So I'm trying to make the contrast. I'm saying you did gobble it up, you did chop it up. So that's the only one that I would suggest we leave. I mean, I'm not stuck with it if other people disagree.
John says no problem.
Okay.
So that's good.
Okay, and the rest of John Chu's revisions I'm fine with. Let's see. And then I guess we can, the rest of my comments would be, referring to Joe's. I'll let Joe speak to the talk about whether, how many are rentals, how many are single family homes. And I know that Majid also had that comment, so we can hash that out a little bit when they get a chance to talk. I want to point out that there's a paragraph, I think it's on page 4, and it's right before we get into the, too much, too tall, too close. There's a paragraph that talks about what percentage are rentals in New Urban West's proposal versus what percentage rentals we currently have in Carmel Mountain. So I just wanted to bring everyone's attention to that. We did discuss it. Perhaps a solution would be to maybe just add a little more to that paragraph. I don't know. We'll talk about that later. But, the rest of the letter is fine. I mean, the content at all looks good to me.
Okay. Thank you, John Schroeder. Mark Clark. I clicked unmute on you. There you are. Yep.
Yeah, I'm good. I don't have any additional comments. I read through it and I'm fine with the way it is.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Joe, your turn.
Hey, first of all, I'd like to say that I like the letter. It's really a good letter. I just want to get some clarification and on some of the things that we put in there. On my first comment, which is the first page, the second paragraph, I think what we have are 9 sheets of of letter. And it's been my experience that a letter this long, if we make it longer, people will just like lose interest at the end of the letter. So I'd like to shorten the letter as much as we can. But that's why I said on this second paragraph of the first page, we're saying something that we already know. This is already happening everywhere. So I don't think this is necessary. Go ahead if you feel that we need to. All the board members already know this thing. So I don't think this is necessary. But that's just a minor item in what we are doing. Okay, then I go to second page, second paragraph also. The first sentence is saying, this proposal puts thousands of additional people. I agree with that thing, but it looks like it's a very negative thing to me. If we add on, we really have, they're proposing 1,200 units, right? So if you add in between saying this 1,200 units, and then you continue in with thousands, at least in my mind, we're talking about not 10,000 units. We're talking about 1,000 units only. So that's what my comment. On the last sentence of the second paragraph, we're saying only to put millions of dollars into the owners and developers' pocket. That's very, to me, I don't think we need to say that. We're just inviting enemies on this thing here. So I'd rather take out that last sentence. Okay. When on the last paragraph of the second page, I think John had already answered this question. That you checked it. It's like what the commissioner said. So I'm okay with that. And then on page 4, when we say number 1, too much, we're saying development must not exceed 200 to 250 units total. This is from 1,020 to 250 to 200 to 250. That's a big drop. But I don't think, are we referring to rental units or homes? Because the next comparison that I see here, I interpret this to be like 159 homes. I think my interpretation is 159 single family homes. These are not units. Is this correct? No? Rich, you're shaking your head.
So, I mean, I think this is one way or another. From my understanding, we were just putting a lower number of homes or units. Well, this one specific, it says specifically units. So I know the council, they were looking for I don't think they were looking for single family homes. They were looking for starter homes.
But the comparison that we are saying here are units, our rental units against single family homes. So that's my understanding with this write-up. So it's not really apple to apple. If it's units, then it's units. For a single family, if it's a 3-bedroom, you have single family homes, that's considered 3 units of rental. So if you say, at least my understanding here, if you say 159 homes, times 3, that would be like also in the higher level. So we have to compare this thing apple to apple. Whoever wrote this thing, I need an answer whether our interpretation with 200 to 250 units are rental units, and the other one when we say homes, it's actually rental units or single family.
Joe, Joe, I could give you what my interpretation has been all along. The 200 to 250 units simply meant units. Now, a portion of those units would be rentals and a portion of those units would be for sale. So it's just units. Now, as far as the Stone Ridge Country Club, Escondido Golf Course, and Doubletree, I really don't know whether those were all single. Well, Stone Ridge, it says homes, but Escondido, it says 380 homes, including 188 condos. The Doubletree Golf Course, I don't know if those are homes or condos or a combination.
That's really what I need. I need to be clear to my mind that we're comparing apples to apples.
The only solution that
I like what we're saying here, and I hope we could get it, but we have to be factual and we have to be honest with what we're saying. When we say 200 to 250 units, better be the same as what we're comparing with the others. If I was the commissioner on this thing, I will not accept this kind of explanation, because I think we're not comparing apple to apple.
Yeah, the only quick solution I could think of is to call everything units, you know, even in the ones we're comparing them to, the Stone Ridge, the Escondido, and Doubletree. I mean, we could just say units. Aside from that, I don't have an answer as to what those other properties, what combination of types of units they have.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else knows.
But still, we're not answering our question. Maybe we're just changing our wordings, but we're not answering our question.
I don't understand your like what? How would you word it?
Well, I would explain what we mean by homes compared to units.
It's my understanding that homes and units, they're interchangeable, right? A home, we're considering a home a unit, or we're considering a building with 8 homes in it 8 units, right?
Yeah, that's how I understand it. Just a unit is some sort of arbitrary measure of the number. You know, like right now we're at 1,200. We're suggesting a much smaller number for the.
Yeah, but to me, the units that we're saying in this rental is like 1,000 square foot or maybe 2,000 square foot. A home is more than 2,000 square foot that we're talking about here. We're talking about more than that. So a 3-bedroom home would be considered as 3 units.
No.
All right.
A 3-bedroom home, that's one unit.
That's my comment. That's my comment. I don't agree with this too much, because I don't think we're comparing it to apple to apple.
Joe, can I throw out one more suggestion?
Sure.
I know when you look in the zoning code, like whether it be single family zone properties or multifamily zone properties, they refer to density as dwelling units per acre. So, you know, dwelling units seems to be kind of a generic term that could mean either a multifamily unit such as a condo, or I guess a single family home. So I mean, that's another option. We could call them all dwelling units. I don't know, would that don't know. That's a suggestion.
Mine too. It's just like, it's not clear on my mind. And that's my
Okay.
comment. Okay. I guess on page 9, my last comment is the same as this, what we just discussed, the 200 to 250 units. So that's all I've got. When we go to the voting of this thing, Eric, could I say that I will approve with comments?
Yes. I think-
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
That's what I've got.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll come back to that, and then moving along. And after the board has a chance to weigh in, I see a couple of public comments, so we can get to those. Kurt. I don't know where Kurt. I talked to Kurt earlier today, and I know he was planning to be here. I also know that he was not at home and was going to be calling in on the phone. I do see a phone connecting, so maybe that's him. Maybe that's him. And I think he could probably speak to this 250 number and units versus. I see a phone connecting to audio here, and I'm hoping that's Kurt. So let's just give this a second to see if it clicks in. I think he may be having some technical problems. And I'm looking for any texts or anything from Kurt. Okay, well, I see this Samsung device trying to connect to audio, and it seems to be having some struggle there. So we'll hope that that's Kurt and kind of come back around. We'll go to Majid and Silva. Oh. And I'm gonna unmute. Escondido is 380 dwelling units according to John Chu. Silva, are you there?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead with your comments, or no comments, and then Majid, same thing, please.
I have no comments. Yeah, but Majid has a comment to make.
Okay.
Yeah, just send an email. Everything is great. I approve it. But I think you better mention that this 200, 250, how much of it we're going to be like a percentage wise? If they come back and says, oh, we cannot do the 250, but we can do 500. So the percentage of rental is kind of like important. It is, if you mention it. That's my suggestion. Otherwise, I approve everything.
So your suggestion would be to include what percentage of whatever they build would be acceptable as rental.
Right.
Okay.
Or nothing, not zero.
Right.
And do that too. It's
right.
just.
I think it would likely be reasonable for us to expect them to have a similar percentage of rentals to what we already have here, rentals versus single family.
That's why we should force.
Okay.
A comment.
I don't know. I guess, Kurt, are you here? If you're here, can you put something in the chat? I see there's a Samsung phone connected, and I was hoping that was Kurt. I pushed unmute on that a couple of times. I'm not getting anything, so that might be someone else. I'm just looking to try and find if Kurt's here or not. because I think he could help shed some light on some of this. Looking at the participant window. No, Kurt's calling. Stand by, folks. Stand by. Unmute. Okay, I'm unmuted on the Zoom call. I've got Kurt on the phone here, folks, and he's having a hard time getting his audio connected. He can hear us though. Kurt, maybe if you can hear the call, right? Okay. So I'm just trying to figure out if I mean, so as it sits, you personally, do you have any changes to the letter, or are you okay as is? Okay. Kurt says he's happy where it's at. All right. So being that you're with us on audio only, so you probably can't chat. I'm guessing the chat function isn't working. Yeah, okay, yeah. All right. Well, you're dialed in. Why don't you continue listening in and stay on the line, I guess, with me, and if there's something you want to say, I'll say it for you. Okay. All right. Crazy. All right, hang on. All right, folks. I've got Kurt on the phone, and he can hear us. We can't hear him. And if he has something to say, he'll say it in my ear, and I'll say it. And he can't, for some reason, get on the chat either. All right. So as if okay. I think we're moving along here. So we've gone through the board member comments. Let me look through the chat here for public input. Yes, Mark says we should send the letter to the owner of the golf course property. New Urban West is not, yeah. Well, New Urban West is the entity that the city is dealing with on this proposal, and we're not in a position to negotiate with the golf course owner. That's not we can't do that. Mark Mal says we should negotiate with the owner, not with New Urban West. There's nothing to negotiate with the owner. The city of San Diego is giving us a proposal from New Urban West. So what is, okay, again from Mark Mal, what is the board goal? End up with 500, 600 units. Yeah, he wants, all right, Mark, we understand you want no homes on the golf course, and that's your position, and we're not in a position to demand that as a board, but you guys keep working on that. We appreciate everything you're doing, and We want you to keep working on what you're working on. So the basis, okay, Mark Clark, I did unmute you, Mark. Did you have something you wanted to say?
No.
Oh,
I'm good.
Okay, he's good. All right. Do not give any starting point. Okay, where I can't, Mark, I appreciate your, Mal, I appreciate your comments. We can't, I can't keep rehashing the, why we're negotiating with New Urban West, or why we're trying to, or why we've explained ourselves, I believe. Okay, John Chu says Escondido is 380 dwelling units, 190 single family, 30 lots, 188 detached condos. Maybe recommends percentage similar, yeah, compared to existing in CMR. Can you put him on the speaker? Oh, I guess I could. Yeah, I guess I could put Kurt on speakerphone. Let me try. Kurt, can you hear me? Kurt, are you there? Well, now I can't hear him on the phone either. Kurt.
Ground control to Kurt.
Yeah, exactly. This is ground control to Kurt Carlson.
So,
no,
Eric,
I've got, yes, Mark. Hang on, Kurt.
To that point, can we do that? Because that's one of the things that has always concerned me. I mean, it's not just the number of units, obviously, but it's the percentage of the units that they expect to be rentals. We all know it. People don't take care of stuff that are rentals as much as they do that are ownership, even if it's a condo versus an apartment. So can we add to the letter that we would like a similar percentage of rental units that's currently within the existing community? And I don't know what that is, if it's 10%, 20%, whatever. If somebody knows what that is, I think we should add that to the letter, that like our request of, whether you do 200 units like we'd really like, or actually we really don't like 0, but if you do 200 units or you do 1,200, the ratio of rental units we'd like to be small. And obviously we can't dictate if somebody buys a property and then chooses to rent it or not. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about an initial like apartment or that kind of thing.
Well, the second paragraph of page 4 has that. Saying
okay, I just
for roughly, it says roughly 20% of the living units are rent, and that's one of the things that we're disagreeing with, saying that they're not using of what we have now. So we kind of have that in there.
Yeah, I was just thinking about the bullet, because I saw that too, but I was just thinking about it in the bullet point area, just to reiterate it. But it's not a huge deal if it's already in the paragraph. I get that, but I was just thinking about like kind of reiterating it.
That makes sense. Okay, so I'm gonna try, Kurt. I'm gonna put you on speakerphone, and then I'm gonna put my mic up to the speakerphone and see if that gets your audio through. Okay. Hang on here. It might just create some horrible feedback. Who knows?
Okay. So I like what Mark had to say. I think that's important. I think that to create a little more number, a commitment to a number is good for coming from the community group. I think that they'll respond better to that. Unless we're just saying no apartments, period, it's probably not a good idea. And I always thought of it as a mixture of units anyway. So when it was 200, 250, it's whatever units that we can get, whatever mixture we can negotiate. I don't know how that's going to work, but if it does. The other thing is that, and I missed part of the meeting due to my difficulty to get in. The one thing I wanted to make sure we did tonight was include the red line design guidelines with the letter, so that there is a little bit of background or backup to the letter itself, so to understand. Sorry, it's windy out here, but did you get all that?
Do you guys hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Amazingly enough, people are hearing you. so that's good. So, all right. At this point, we have basically the John Chu edits, and thank you for those. And we have the Joe Valencia edits. And thank you for those, Joseph. And Joseph, aside from the discussion of units versus homes, etc., and aside from that one paragraph that you thought we might want to strike, it was you didn't have any other substantive changes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, at this point, I guess we need to make sure that when we're saying units, we mean living units, dwelling units. That all means the same thing, and I think that we all are on the same page with that. And then Kurt would like us to attach the redlined design guidelines that he marked up with the letter. And then we need to, on the one bullet point, reiterate that we want a similar percentage of rental units in the new project that we have now, whether it's 250 units or 25,000 units, the same, not that we're going to say 25,000, but we want a similar percentage, whatever number of units New Urban West says they want to build. So, I mean, that, I think at this point, we could probably have some sort of, let me look at, I'm looking for other, okay. Is there any other public comment besides don't let them build anything? We understand that one. Any other public comments? Okay, so I mean, at this point, really, we just need to come up with a way to say, let's send this letter after we do these things that we've discussed here. Because the last thing, I mean, I guess, and I mean, we could also make some of these edits live here right now, or we could just motion to approve with these things included. I don't know how you guys want to handle that. You still there, Kurt?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, good.
I could make a motion to include the letter as is with the minor edits suggested, and then adding the edited red lines of the design guidelines as the submittal.
Okay. So, Kurt,
that's my motion.
Okay, and at the same time you were saying that, Dan Thompson made a motion to approve. So basically, the motion is that we approve the letter with the inclusion of the edits that we've discussed here. Kurt's made the motion, so we would just need a second to that. Second from John Chu. All right, so good. And I bet you anything, Esther got confused and thought the meeting was at 6:30. That might have been the problem with. I want to make sure. I'm going to take a tally here of people, and we'll get the vote on record. Oh, too many screens, too many windows. Okay, Kurt. So you made the motion. So I assume you're Whoa. I knew that was going to happen. Okay. Kurt, I assume your vote is to approve. Yes. Okay. He says yes, and Kurt, I'm getting terrible feedback now, so I'm gonna hang up on you. Okay. But you can obviously stay with the meeting. All right. Cool. Thanks. Bye. Okay. That Kurt's still listening, but all right. So I'm going to go through the roster here real quick. And if you're, okay, I vote to approve the motion. Esther's not here. Ryan Yamasaki.
Derek,
Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Can I ask for a clarification here? I don't really know what we decided to do about the comparable projects, you know, to address Joe's question. How are we going to revise that? Were we going to just add a little bit more detail when we talk about those projects? Like, you know, how many are single family, how many are multifamily? I know John Chu already gave us some information.
Yeah.
I like leaving, I thought the suggestion, which I like, is leaving it open, just units open to, you know, however the mix works. I mean, I think just leaving it as units as they're suggesting now is good enough. I mean, we're lowered it quite a bit. It's like a negotiation anyway, and we're kind of giving them a number that we think is more acceptable.
I don't think we're really saying it apple to apple. So with what Ryan had suggested, or John has suggested about describing the units here from the Zoom chat, I think if we include this thing here, I think that it's understandable to everybody. But if we just leave it for interpretation by anybody else, then we're not really telling them the exact thing that we're trying to get.
So then, are you suggesting then that we? No, I'm.
Yeah. But
Is that me that's echoing? It's a weird echo. So you're suggesting then that we go through where we talk about other projects. For instance, Escondido is 380 dwelling units. That we add the detail that's 192 single family and 188 detached condos.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Then it would be at least we're trying to explain to them what we really mean by 200, 250. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
One of the things I'm worried about is when we start getting to single family homes. I know the board, they were specifically saying they were looking for like starter homes. You know, like I would assume like condos or you know, what do they call when they're joined? Sounds like they were looking for like inexpensive starter homes, like condos.
Right, but Rich, if I'm not mistaken, New Urban West has not proposed barely any condos. Didn't they say like basically they're all either over 55 or apartments, right? So I think we need to call that out more specifically. And to your point, right? I mean, like, and I don't think we need to get into the details of the breakdown of what we want the 200 units to be. I do think we should say these 200 units should match the community again, right? With this thing of, you know, as we said earlier, you know, with no more than 25% as apartment units. But to your point, Rich, you're exactly right. Like that's what the council said, or the planning commission, and they're just giving us a bunch of apartments. They're not giving people single family homes. I'm sorry, an apartment is not a home. I mean, I know your home is where you make it. I get that, but it's not a home. Like it's not something you can own. And that's to me the definition of a home. So whether it's a shared yard, I think that's what you're talking about, right? Where they kind of share one wall, not a wall, but I lived one in Caminito Rayon. Like my backyard, I could actually touch my neighbor's house, right, from my backyard, but we didn't actually share any walls. We shared a property line. I think that's what it was. We shared a property line. So, you know, those were small. They were like 1,100 square feet. They're great little starter home. That's what I started on with my starter home back, you know, up in Caminito Rayon. And then you have condos, and we have none of that in this. I think we really need to kind of glare that and bring that to the surface, especially for anybody on the commission who might have said that and wants that, because you're not providing that to the community of San Diego. You're providing just a bunch of freaking more apartments. That's it.
There was one of them that had a quote about, I don't want to approve a bunch of $800,000 homes or something to that point. Anyway, I was mainly throwing in my comment when we started talking about single family homes, because and I get we want that mix in there, but I was just remembering what the Planning Commission was saying about it, that they were specifically not looking for. When I hear single family homes, I'm thinking of what we already have here, you know, a lot of what they call I think they use the term $800,000 homes. They were looking more for condos or I don't know, something like that. But anyway, regardless, I don't think I have a problem with what's being stated. I was just throwing that up for comment when I heard single family home.
Gotcha. So I see a few comments in the chat that seem to make sense regarding this issue. John Chu says, you know, and John, I'm going to try and unmute you again, see what happens. John Chu says, if the Planning Commission asks how we got to 250 units, we can say it's between the density of Stone Ridge and Escondido junipers. John, are you there? It's still weird, man. I don't know what's going on with.
He's got the Smurf. He's got AT&T's Smurf service.
Yeah, something. Oh yeah, maybe. Okay, he killed his video. Let's see if killing the video. It's still bad, man. There's something with your mic. I don't know. Okay, all right. So anyway, okay. So we could add a table that would take less space and be easier to read, possibly. But I think, you know, Harold Plotz says, for instance, I'd like to see it left as units or dwelling units, which seems like enough information. And then John Chu adds, we could just say X number of units to be a mix of starter homes, condos, and apartments with similar percentage of rentals compared to existing CMR community.
Yeah. I like that a little bit more, to be honest, from John, because it feels more thoughtful. I get it, right? None of us want this. We all want a golf course back, but you have to be reality. If we're not seen as reasonable, they're going to push everything back. So I think that's a very reasonable, well thought out little paragraph. Like we can even tweak it a little bit, but I like that from John. That seems.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And
I
John,
like it too.
and John agrees with you. Okay. So coming back to the motion then, having defined the discussion units versus dwelling units, etc., it seems like we're all in agreement that we can say that we're prepared to accept the 200 to 250 units to be a mix of starter homes, condos, and apartments, having a similar percentage of rentals compared to the existing CMR community. And that actually kind of knocks out both Joe Valencia's concern and also the concern about being consistent with talking about the rentals. And then Silva says we could say 200 to 250 mix of SFR and condos. I think this starter homes is probably a better word to use, because I think that as far as the city of San Diego is concerned, I don't even think they're considering any single family home developments in infill projects at this point. They're all about density. So I think leaving it as the original statement, mix of starter homes, condos, and apartments with similar percentage is probably the way to go here. So I mean, if we can sort of come to a consensus on that, I think we can move forward and vote. Okay, Silva agrees with John. So I think if we're all on the same page with that, we can move forward with the voting on the motion to incorporate this change that we're talking about and include the red line of the design guidelines. So basically all we're doing here is adding this statement about the number of units being a mixture of starter homes, condos, and apartments with similar percentage of rental units compared to the existing CMR community. And then whereas when we're talking about other projects and we're saying units or dwelling units, that's the same thing. Units is units. It's a It's a unit, a house, a condo, a townhome, whatever it is, however many bedrooms it is. A unit is one residence, right? Yes. Okay, so are we prepared to come back and vote on the motion? Does anybody think we need a different motion, or are we okay to move forward with what's on the table?
I guess I'm not clear then. When we're talking about the comparable projects, are we or are we not breaking down the units and describing them?
I think what Harold says is pretty valid. I mean, units or dwelling units seems like enough information for the planning commission. These are smart. I mean, all the people that are looking at this letter understand, I think, what dwelling unit means, right?
I could support that because that's what I suggested earlier, but I was just clarifying.
Yeah, I don't think, the planning commission knows the exact mix. I don't think we need to go back into those paragraphs and redefine how many of this or how many of that Stone Ridge or Escondido has. I think sticking with units or dwelling units is sufficient unless anybody has a strenuous objection to that. Okay, so what do we want to do here? We were pretty. I lost track of where we were with the vote, so I would myself, I need to go back and kind of recheck in with everybody, if that makes sense. So I'm in favor of the letter as it stands, with the inclusion of the red line design guidelines and the inclusion of that sentence that we already talked about here. So Esther, I still don't. Well, Esther has not been at the meeting, so she can't vote anyway. All right. So then we need Ryan. Where'd Ryan go?
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you vote on the motion?
Approved with the stated edits.
Right. So that's Edelman. Yes. Yeah. Ryan. Yes. Dan Thompson. Approved with edits, he says. Yes. John Chu. Okay. Yes. Approved with discussed. Okay, yeah, so John Chu says in the chat he approves with the discussed edits. Okay. Rich?
Approved.
Rich Kreggy is a yes. John Schroeder?
I approve with the discussed edits.
Yeah, and we'll get together, you and I and Kurt, probably tomorrow to get this finished up, if you got a minute. Okay. Mark Clark?
Approve with discussed edits.
Good. Michelle Mullen is not present. Joe Valencia?
Yes, approved as stated.
Thank you. Now Kurt made the motion, so I believe we can assume his vote to be a yes. And Kurt, if you can, Kurt, can you just text me real quick, just to confirm that? Just send me a text so I can read it into the record. Silva, unmute. Silva.
Hey, Esther finally showed up. Esther, the meeting started at 5:30, not 6:30.
Where is she? Unmute.
Right. Eric, approve with stated edits.
Okay. Silva, yes. Majid?
Yes, I approve with the discussed edits.
Okay. I'm clicking unmute on Esther. She wasn't in the meeting, so can't technically be counted as present, but I guess we can. Okay, so that's 1, 2.
I'm here. I'm present. Hello.
Hi, Esther. We've discussed the letter, and basically there's a motion on the floor here to approve with some edits that we discussed. But you kind of
Oh my God, in 4 minutes, you guys already discussed and approved and made a motion? Jeez.
no, the meeting actually
What
started.
happened to the chit chat small talk?
Well, we actually started at 5:30 tonight, so that's what happened.
Oh my gosh, I thought it was 6:30. Oops, sorry guys.
That's okay. We've got a quorum here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we've got 11 to 0 on the approval of the letter with the discussed edits. So
I approve. I read it. I approve it. And you know what? We need to get this thing going because it's already long enough. There's nothing more we can say. It states what we need to say. And, you know, we're coming in with a great case. It's up to the city to now realize that, you know, what we say makes sense. So.
okay, thank you for that. All right, so we're and even unfortunately, even though you're voting yes, I can't count you because you weren't in the whole meeting, I think, but you're on the recording, so
all right.
it's fine. It's fine. We appreciate you coming in. Okay, so we're 11-0. Motion carries. That item is dispensed with. So
meeting over.
Well,
motion to adjourn.
is it too long for you, Esther? That's 6 minutes.
It is. You're cutting into my social life, you guys.
Yeah, I think I've grown some extra gray hairs in the past couple of weeks.
Yep, understandable.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, we don't have any new business. We don't have any additional action items. So we are adjourned at this point until August 12th at 6:30, and we will be having the Alante subcommittee on. Oh, where did that go? I think it's Thursday at 5:30. Thursday at 5:30.
Okay, 5:30. I'll gotta remember that.
Thursday.
I'll put it on my calendar right now.
Okay, so I'm going to terminate the recording